assistance. If anyone needs a mask or hand sanitizer, that's available right over here at the bridge. I believe this has been a long overdue celebration to be able to recognize some outstanding individuals that have contributed to the success of our community and have made an impact on the lives of so many people, several who are here today. I want to thank President Jonathan George with the Tri-City NAACP, the Downtown Business Association, and all of the contributors that helped make this event happen today. But most of all, I want to thank everyone that is here, everyone that showed up to recognize and pay homage to the folks from the African American community that have contributed to the success that we enjoy and the quality of life that we enjoy here in Vacaville. So thank you all. I'd like to now hand it over to the Vacaville Mayor, Ron Rowlett, to read his proclamation.
Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon now, as the bells chime. I am here to give a proclamation for Black History Month. I'm going to read through it today with you, and I just want to thank everyone for being here. It's just a joy to see everyone out today. Beautiful weather. Thank you for being with us. And whereas Black History Month is an annual celebration of achievements by African Americans and a time to recognize the central role of African Americans in U.S. history. And since 1976, every U.S. president has designated the month of February as Black History Month. And where other countries around the world, including Canada and the United Kingdom, have also devoted the month to celebrating Black history. The month of February includes many historical milestones in Black history, including civil rights leader, NAACP co-founder, W.E.B. Du Bois, born on February 23rd, 1868. And February 3rd, 1870, the 15th Amendment, which prohibited discrimination in voting on basis of race. Excuse me, it's hard to talk through this mask. And was passed on February 12th, 1909. The NAACP was founded, and on February 1st, 1960, the courageous group of Black college students challenged segregation by sitting in on a segregated Woolworths lunch counter in Greensboro, North Carolina. And in September 1915, the Harvard-trained historian Carter G. Woodson and the prominent minister Jesse Moreland founded the Association for Study of Negro Life and History, an organization dedicated to researching and promoting achievements by Black Americans and other people of African descent. Known today as the Association for Study of African American Life and History, the group sponsored the National Negro History Week in 1926, choosing the second week of February to coincide with birthdays of Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass. And the 1926 event proved to be so impactful that it inspired schools and communities nationwide to organize celebrations, establish history clubs, host performances and lectures, and the Tri-City NAACP and the 2021 Black History Month celebration organizers have selected stellar examples of civic-minded heroes whose historic and contemporary contributions are the beginning to recognize and uplift us in this, the inaugural Black History Month celebration. And now, therefore, being resolved that I, Ron Rowlett, Mayor, on behalf of the Vacaville City Council, do by here proclaim February 2021 as Black History Month in Vacaville. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Rowlett. And yes, indeed, February marked the NAACP's 112th year of advocating for people of color all throughout the world. I'm here to introduce our Mistress of Ceremony, Dr. Sarah E. Chapman. The entirety of her bio can be found in your program, but I'll just read a couple of paragraphs. Dr. Sarah E. Chapman retired from Mare Island Naval Shipyard as a journeyman person mechanics, machinist, where she also performed duties as a union steward. Following her retirement, she was approached to serve as executive director of a nonprofit organization that provided service to runaway youth throughout Solano County. If there was ever a need in the community and brought to Dr. Chapman's attention, she would find a way to accommodate. Dr. Chapman currently serves as Vice President of Solano Community College Board of Trustees, along with other duties and other, as well as other duties and other organizations that she participated in. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming Dr. Sarah Chapman.
Well, good afternoon. I think I'll remove one of the masks. Okay, I think that's a little better. I can hear myself. What a beautiful day it is. We have been blessed with a blue sky overhead. Don't look to the west, there are clouds. And we want to keep it this way. Today is a special day. It's the inaugural event, which means that there are more to come, right, Mayor? Okay, appreciate hearing that. Here we have we see Vacaville. Vacaville is represented here at the Creek Walk. Look at the shades. You have the black, white, brown. It's a mixture. There's peace and harmony. Everyone is attentive. You are the ones that make a difference. You are the ones that make Vacaville what it is. A beautiful program has been planned for you this afternoon, and I'm not going to belabor. I'm going to keep the program moving. So at this time, I'm going to call on Sharia Daniels, who is going to sing the Black Negro National Anthem. Thank you. Good afternoon. Thank you. I was going to ask that you all please stand. All right, we'll go ahead and get started. Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the
We have come over the way that the tears have been watered. We have come treading the path through the blood of the slaughtered, out from the gloomy past, till now we stand at last, where the white gleam of our bright star is cast. God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, thou who has brought us thus far on the way, thou who has by thy might led us into the light. Keep us forever in the path, we pray, lest our feet stray from the places, our God, where we met thee, lest our hearts, drunk with the wine of the world, we forget thee. Shadow beneath thy hands, may we forever stand, true to our God, true to our native land. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Ms. Daniels. I hope you were paying attention to those words, to the lyrics to that song. It tells a story about the voyage of Black people, of African American people. So at your leisure, please don't lose your program. Take the time and read through the lyrics again. It's very touching and very meaningful. So at this time, I'm going to introduce to you the Reverend Reginald Brown. He is the pastor of Grace Community Church here in Vacaville. Again, his bio is in the program as well. It's rather extensive. And I'm just going to highlight that he has 2 ebooks that he has written. He is also a counselor and a coach for individuals that are imprisoned, for parolees and for families here in the community. He also teaches at Vallejo Bible College in Vallejo, California. So at this time, I'm going to ask the Reverend Reginald Brown to come forward.
Good afternoon, everyone. Let me say thank you for this opportunity. I would like to publicly thank the leadership team of Mr. Johnny Con George, Ms. Merle Martin, and Vice President Christine LaFacardi, Secretary, and to the rest of your leadership staff. I'm aware of the weightiness and the magnitude of this moment, and I'm also aware that there are many you could have called on, so I paused long enough to say thank you. So let me say that I do not take this moment lightly, neither do I take it for granted. Though we are in 2021, I'm well aware that the NAACP of today is standing on the rich history of those fighting for the rights of the oppressed people, especially people of color, as your founders were in 1909. My purpose here today is to speak on the role and the influence of the Black church in the community. Let me state 2 clear facts in the forefront of my message concerning the quote-unquote Black church. First, let me be perfectly clear that the black church did not start with the origin of being the black church. The need and necessity of the black church sprang because those in the African diaspora in this nation were not allowed to worship nor celebrate God because of the color of their skin. So because of this, as they learned of this religion here called Christianity, they wanted a space of worship, and in its organic desire, the black church arose. Before you get too far and I lose you, because I said enslaved people of black skin learned Christianity during this time of oppression, do not think for a moment that I'm saying that this was the way all blacks learned Christianity. While today I'm speaking on the role of the influence of African American churches in this community, I do so with the unique understanding that we are forever indebted to the role of black people, those in color, in the church in totality, the global church. For Christianity itself was birthed in the heart of blackness through black people and now the land known as Africa. Now, with this being said and out the way, I dedicate the rest of my time to the role of the black church in this community. While thinking of the role of the black church, I'm reminded of the call of Moses, as God called Moses in Exodus chapter 3 to the backside of the mountain to tell Moses, go tell Pharaoh, let my people go. There are three things I want to arise and bring to your attention today that I believe that are pertinent from the life of Moses to show us the role of the African American church today. The first role of the black church in the community is to be that of a prophetic voice. Moses, the first prophet of Israel, spoke truth to power. Ever since its inception, black pastors across this nation has been the conscience of this truth that all of God's creatures are equal. Yes, white and black, Jews and Gentiles, Protestant and Catholics, in the words of Dr. King, are all equal. The black pastor has continued to be this conscience ringing out in the sound of the ear that until the least, the less likely, and the left out are lifted up, America will never be able to live up to its creed that we all have a right and we were all created for freedom. The black pastor is indeed the voice of consciousness. When I speak of prophetic voice, I speak of truth to power, not just foretelling, suggesting what someone's future will be. Real truth to power is forthtelling. It is shaking up those that are in positions of power, calling them to action, calling them to move beyond the place of their comfort zone, beyond the place of their wealth, to reach down to do what Jesus said do, and that is to do to the least of these my children. When you do it unto them, you've done it unto me. When did we do it unto you? I hear Jesus saying, when I was in jail, you visited me. When I was sick, you visited me. When I was thirsty, you gave me drink. When I was lonely, you came to me. When I was hungry, you fed me. To those who would not do that, he said, depart from me, you workers of iniquity. Along with being the prophetic voice of the community, the pastor, the black church has been the pastoral center of the community. When African Americans were not allowed to gather in spaces that were exclusively for whites only, they had to make sure that they gave their black parishioners a space where they could comfort them, love them, encourage them, lift them, push them to a place where they will understand that though their skin had been kissed by the sun, they were not indeed, in the words of their oppressor, cursed because of their skin. They were blessed by their skin. The same thing that they used to oppress them is the same thing God used to bless them. Yes, they were dark, but they were dark and lovely. And it was in the words that I spring of James Brown when he said that black pastor, the black church had to tell them that though you've been crushed, you're black and you ought to be proud. Imagine for just a moment being one who had creative power, creative ingenuity, but no place to showcase it. Imagine being one who had a place where you understood idea, but no place to give it. It was indeed the black church that gave this community a pastoral sense where we comforted those, we fed those, because the black church of then and today is still the largest organization of gathering of black people across this nation. Yes, we have educational opportunities. Yes, we work in institutions, but the black church is still the largest church, largest movement, largest organization that is geared toward the lifting of the black mind. No wonder James Cone wrote, y'all, and this is indeed true, that we have to understand that the black church in pastoral black fashion has been the liberating thought, liberating idea, but we made sure that blacks understood that yes, you are a fabric to your community, and without you, there would be no community. Without you, you would have no doctors, no lawyers. Without you, you would have no scientists or scholars. Without you, you will have no lifting, because you are indeed the ones who do the actual work in the community, even though it is on your backs. Not only is the black church the prophetic voice, the pastoral voice, but the black church has been the platform for the black community. What do I mean by platform? When blacks were not allowed in higher institutions of education, when they were left off the academic road, they had to learn how to speak, talk, live, and walk in the basements of the black church. As a matter of fact, black institutions of higher education found their origins in black churches. Schools like Spelman and Morehouse found their origins in the black church. You wonder why blacks could be so gifted and learn so much. It wasn't because what they were taught in the school. It was what they were taught in the church. The church taught them how to lift up their head, to worship the God of heaven, and to understand that you are indeed somebody. It was this black church that gave that young gifted brother down in Atlanta, Georgia, by the name of Dr. Martin Luther King, his eloquence of speech to stand to declare to the nation that I do have a dream that's deeply rooted in the American dream, that all of God's children, white and black, are able to rise up to live the true nature of its calling, that all of us indeed are indeed God's children. My question then becomes, what of the black church? Let me say this on my way out of here. If you lose the black church, you lose your community. For the black church stands with indeed in partnership with community and with people. So as the black church goes, the community goes. God bless you. God keep you.
All right, let's give Pastor another round of applause. That was a very strong message, very strong and very true. I could begin. I was having deja vu moments when he was talking about the black church and how much it's learned in the black church and how it's the foundation of the black people. Thanks again. Thank you so very much. Okay, so now I'm going to call on a new council member who has the task of introducing to some elected officials and some other important people among us. So at this time, would Council Member Mike Silva come forward?
How's everyone doing? Oh, come on. How's everyone doing? I cannot hear you. How y'all doing? All right, you guys are all getting there. My name is Michael Silva. I was recently elected to a great honeymoon on city council. And thank you. Got one fan. And it's been honestly quite an honor to be entrusted with the voice of the people to represent those who live in our community. And no matter what you believe, where you come from, how we can all come together to celebrate life and the future that we're all working towards. First, I want to recognize our mayor, Ron Rowlett, our vice mayor, Nolan Sullivan, city council member, Roy Stockton, and city council member, Jeanette Wiley. There you are. And city council member, Jason Roberts. I would also like to represent the boss of my boss, Dr. Sarah Chapman, Solano College Board of Trustees. You know, just, sorry, I gotta slip this down. It ain't gonna work. So, you know, being a leader and stepping up, you know, putting our families out there is a struggle, but all of us are dedicated towards leading with integrity, leading with honor, leading with humility, and leading with the courage to do what's right. All of us not only believe in ourselves, but we believe in others. And I know each of you out here not only believe in yourself, but each of you believe in others. So while I'm supposed to recognize special guests, I want you all to know, those of you that are able to attend and those of you at home listening in, you all are our special guests. And I'd like for you to take time before you leave today to try to take a moment to introduce yourself to someone new, someone different than you. And you'll learn that we have a lot more in common than what sometimes we're led to believe. So thank you.
All right, now it's that time. It's time for us to be honored with words. Trying to get me? Oh, okay. Someone was waving and I thought they were trying to get my attention. All right now. Okay, at this time I would like to introduce to you our keynote speaker. This young lady was a resident of Vacaville for many years. She was the first African American female to be elected and serve on the Vacaville City Council. She has been very involved throughout the county. She may share more of this herself, but I believe it was the homeless Opportunity House. She has done quite a bit throughout the county and probably beyond. At this time, she is an employee at Solano Community College, and she calls me, she says, that's my boss also. I'm no one's boss, but we all work together. We all work together for common good. Again, her bio is in your program. And so I'm not going to belabor. I'm going to call our keynote speaker, Dr. Risha Slade, to the podium.
Thank you, everyone. First of all, I have to say this. Looking out on this group, I see members of my family. I see my immediate supervisor. I see a young woman that I went to elementary school with, and middle school with, and high school with in El Cerrito. I see a couple of former students. It's just, it makes me happy, okay, that they came here to share this beautiful moment with all of us. And my friend Joyce. First of all, I would like to thank the Tri-City NAACP and the City of Vacaville for including me in this very important event. Secondly, I want you to know that I love this city and can continue to pray for it to prosper, both financially and socially. I have had many firsts in my life. I have also experienced being the only person of color in both social and educational situations. This happenstance has occurred to many of us, if not most of us here today, am I right? With regard to being the first African American to be elected to the City Council, I would remind all of us that I remain the only, to my knowledge, African American so elected. That troubles me, as I am sure that there are many qualified men and women in the city who would make excellent council members. In order to help you better understand me, I want to share some things with you. When I was approached to run in 1996 for office, the first thing that I thought of was something that my late mother, Mildred Williams, told me several times, may I add, quote, "If you want real change to happen, you must become involved in the very political structure that you are demonstrating against. You have to become part of the power structure to have a voice in what happens," unquote. My mother was one of the most intelligent people I've ever known. Although she only attended 1 year at San Francisco City College, she had what is lacking in so many people, common sense. She understood people, their needs, and their feelings. I was raised in a home where we were taught to care about others, to concern ourselves with the well-being of our community, and to stand up for what was right. My father, Richard Williams, worked at least 2 jobs throughout my childhood. As one of 13 children, he was a tremendous and tireless provider. Because both of my parents worked, my brother Greg and I were able to experience things that most African American youth did not. We learned to ski. We went on camping trips. We both played string instruments and the piano. We had a baby grand piano in our living room, and both became involved in student government. Although we were born in Oakland, we moved to El Cerrito when I was 8 years old. I was the only African American girl in my school. Fortunately, I did not experience any racial discrimination or bullying. On the other hand, my brother, who has a darker complexion than mine, had several experiences where he had to physically defend himself, as well as hear fellow students call him the N-word. There were only 4 of us in our elementary school where we were listed as, quote, colored, unquote. I'm telling my age, and I don't care. Because the school is located in El Cerrito, we were exposed to many things that our cousins who lived in Richmond did not experience. After I graduated from high school, I discovered that my parents allowed at least 6 children from Richmond to use our street address as their place of residence. This allowed them to attend Portola Junior High and El Cerrito High. The parents of these children wanted them to have a chance at a better education and exposure to different types of people. Better opportunities existed in predominantly white schools, and my parents did what they could to be sure that other children received those same opportunities afforded to my brother and I. Throughout those years, we were taught that we were black and that we were just as good as anyone and no better than anyone else. We were not allowed to use racism as an excuse to not succeed. We were taught to stand up for ourselves, to never start a fight, but if we were hit, we darn sure better finish it. My dad always told me that I should go to law school because I was so good at arguing a point, to question authority, except, of course, that of my parents, and to not back down if we believed that we were right. During my undergraduate years at Stanford, I participated in many demonstrations to the point that my phone was tapped for at least a year. I was dating the first African American president of the student body. Apparently that meant something to somebody. I babysat for Angela Davis's niece during the infamous trial in San Jose. There were other events that I'm not at liberty to talk about. Let's just say that I was a member of a ragtag group of students who made things happen. I wanted to be clear to all young people here. I never damaged public or private property, ever. I was tear gassed, but never arrested. Coming from a lower middle class family, my parents could not afford for me to attend another school, so I had to protect myself against being expelled from Stanford University. When I graduated, my family was proud, but my mother was relieved. She did not have to sit up at night worrying about her little girl. After a series of jobs with nonprofits, I was hired to run the Opportunity House homeless shelter. During that time, I spoke before every major organization here in the city, among them Kiwanis, Rotary, and the Chamber of Commerce. I was an active member of the Chamber for several years, and this participation gave me insight into just how the city works, as members came from the business community as well as local government. Now let's get to the city council part. I think that one of the reasons I was elected was because I was well known in the business community, as well as by the local unions and a lot of members of the community. They knew what my interests and concerns were. They knew that I was approachable and that I would listen to their concerns. While I had issues with various members of the council over the years, I was blessed to work with two fantastic city managers. I met with the city manager the Monday before each council meeting. They listened to my concerns and answered my questions when I asked them. I did not have to wait until they found time to look into something. We all understood that the city manager works for the mayor and city council. I was fortunate during those 8 years that the city was financially sound, that development grew slowly, that the availability of schools was a prerequisite to those who wanted to build here. We didn't have districts as you do now, therefore we each worked for every citizen of Vacaville. I personally fought to keep development out of Lagoon Valley, worked to stop the development of apartments only on the south side of the city, served on the Solano Transportation Authority for 6 years as the city rep, and 2 as the backup when the mayors of each city decided that only they should serve on the authority. No offense. There are 2 visuals that I would like to share. One, how many of you have seen the mural on the Heritage House downtown? When this design was first brought to us, the gentleman holding the reins of the horse was blonde. As you can see now, he's not. He's representative of the black community. When I first brought this up, I was told, well, Councilwoman Slade, there's no proof that there were any Black Pony Express men who rode through Vacaville. My response was, therefore you have no proof they did not. Besides, thank you very much. Besides, this man was merely holding the reins. He was not riding the horse. I'm sorry, this pumps me. It brings back memories. It's been a long time, but it still gets me. Number 2, I'm sure that you're all familiar with that lovely statue located in front of the library just across the way, a couple of blocks. I worked with the sculptor personally to ensure that the children were representative, again, of the Vacaville community. Can you imagine my having to explain to one of the committee members why the black child has braids? Can you imagine my anger when one member told me that one of the children looked autistic? My response was, yes. Do you have a problem with that? She quietly slipped away. Yes, these are the types of social interactions that I dealt with during my terms in office. I promised to keep this short. I still got a couple of pages. Oh, sorry. Okay. During this time, while having to deal with instances of ignorance, which can sometimes be cured with education, I never felt any blatant racism. What I did have to deal with was the undercurrent of sexism from a few fellow council members. Jealousy of my educational background, which I will never apologize for, ever. I worked hard to earn my law degree. One longtime council member who is no longer with us actually had a problem with my independence, meaning that I did not allow her to tell me how to vote, and get this, the fact that I was an officer's wife. As an aside, these types of issues were not limited to my time in office. During a meeting at my current place of employment, upon seeing several copies of the Stanford Alumni magazine on my desk, a male staffer actually asked me, are you ready for this? If I knew somebody who had attended Stanford. After holding his gaze with what my mother called the death stare, I responded, "As a matter of fact, I do. You're looking at her." Now, I will leave you. I promised my boss's boss that I would keep this short, so I will leave you with this thought. You elect people to represent you, to look out for your interests, to help businesses survive, to keep taxes as low as possible, to sustain controlled and reasonable growth while ensuring the availability of schools, safe roads, and necessary infrastructure. They're also responsible for providing you with a police department whose officers are required to protect and to serve the entire community. And before I make this next statement, I hope you'll pardon me, gentlemen. If your mayor and council members are not living up to their campaign promises, your job is to make sure that they are not reelected. The power is yours, and you must exercise it. This is not personal. What I just said is not a personal statement, it's a reality check. You have the right to vote. Politics that impact upon you locally are the ones that affect you the most. No matter what they do in DC, no matter what they do in Sacramento, the laws that are passed in this city, the taxes that you pay, are the ones that affect you every day. And the people that set the policies and the staff that implement them, they are the ones that affect you every day. Now, today's event is important for many reasons and a long time coming. I commend the city for stepping up as a co-sponsor. However, I must say this. It is very important that we celebrate Black history, but we must also remember Black history is American history. Aside from working with my former husband to raise our 2 children, the most important thing I ever did was to serve the residents of Vacaville for 8 years. It was an honor. It was hard work. It tested my patience and my tolerance. In closing, it was a challenge, one that I hope I met. And now the challenge is yours. Thank you.
Wow, all I can say is well spoken, well spoken. Again, I was having some deja vu moments. I think many of us here today could identify with some of the things that Dr. Slade mentioned in her presentation. And I want to thank you very much for going out on a limb with a couple of your comments. Okay. So at this time, I'm going to call up Vice Mayor Nolan Sullivan to present the Heroes and Sheroes of Vacaville.
Good afternoon, Vacaville. So that is a very hard act to follow. I feel like I've got a lot of pressure now, so I'm gonna try my best here. So I need 2 things from you guys this morning. The first thing I need is, this is a celebration. We're here to have fun. I need you to be loud. I need you to clap. I need you to celebrate. We have some amazing, amazing Vacavillians coming up in just a few minutes, so I need you guys to be loud and be happy and get into it. The second thing I need is, this is the first annual. This is going to happen every year. I want to see every one of you here next year with 5 of your friends and family, 10 of your friends and family. Let's blow this thing up, okay? First annual. So, with no further ado, Dr. Risha Slade. So Dr. Risha Slade served residents as a member of the Vacaville City Council from 1996 and was reelected in 2000. She was the first African American to serve in the role, and only, which we established today. Dr. Slade said being one of 5 people making decisions that impacted the city and the county taught her the importance of standing up for what you believe in and learning to work well with others. She also said her mother taught her working for change needs to happen from within, whatever system you care about. Dr. Slade has served many nonprofits. She continues her involvement with student government and student activism at Solano Community College. She's a student affairs specialist in early alert at Solano Community College. I am very pleased to present Dr. Slade with the Unsung Shiro Award. This is from Jim Frazier's office, and you also have a plaque for you as well. Thank you so much. I need to buy you a copy one of these days. I'd like to buy you a copy one of these days. Check. Thank you. All right, number 2. Tuskegee Airman and retired Air Force Lieutenant Colonel James C. Warren broke down the barriers of segregation in the military and society. He also reached out to youth through the Vacaville Nut Tree Airport's Young Eagles program, taking up youngsters on their first flight experience. Lieutenant Colonel Warren and the Tuskegee Airmen were acknowledged for their heroic acts later in their lives. Lieutenant Colonel Warren was instrumental in designating a 17-mile stretch of Interstate 80 that honors the Tuskegee Airmen. I'm pleased to honor the late Tuskegee Airman and retired U.S. Air Force Lieutenant Colonel Warren with the Unsung Hero Award. Miss Gladys Town is here to accept the award on behalf of his widow, Miss Warren. Jim Frazier's office, and then we've got a nice plaque for you as well. Thank you so much. Holy smokes. Thank you so much. All right. Our number 3, Musetta M. Thrower. And these words came from her granddaughter, and they're beautiful. Musetta Thrower knew heroism well. If she were here, she would tell you that she experienced it in the potential of her students, in the tenacity of the educators and the sorors she worked with, and in the growth and progress of a community and the family that she cherished. It is those who serve with courage, strive for change, and hold fast to faith that would inspire her. Dynamic leaders like Principal Tiffany Donahue, who is building upon Musetta's legacy and igniting a legacy of her own. What an honor it is to embody heroism and furthermore to be recognized as such. As a family, we remain thankful for this recognition and proud of the mighty work happening within this community. I'm pleased to honor the late Miss Musetta M. Thrower with the Unsung Shiro Award, and we have Miss Shireen Wilkerson who's going to come up and accept the award and also say a few words.
I accept this award on behalf of the Thrower family, and I thank the community very much for this honor.
We actually have, I just want to point out really quick too, we have awards from Jim Frazier's office as well, so that we're actually handing those out in addition to the plaque. All right, so this one's a special one to me because this whenever I think of my high school experience as a Bulldog, these words ring in my head. So I need a little help here really quick. Let's see if you guys get this. Who you rooting for? Who you rooting for? All right, all right. So we are honoring an amazing hero and a larger-than-life character here in Vacaville, Coach Stephen Green. So these words are actually from a fellow student and a fantastic athlete, Mr. Greg Ritchie, who's actually in the back today. I tried to convince him to come up and read them, but he said just wanted me to charge on through. Coach Green coached the Vacaville High School junior varsity football team and served as a teacher for more than 33 years. Coach Green was a sheer force. He became a living legend in our community and was an encourager. Through his crafty articulation like a poet, he would weave parables, scriptures, and words into every interaction he had. Coach Green was a champion of the African American empowerment and wanted every minority to know their history. He understood that education was the fuel, but implementation of that education was his true power. His famous cheer of "Who you rootin' for" will never be forgotten. I'm pleased to honor the late coach Stephen Green with the Unsung Hero Award, and his brother Phil Green is here to accept the award on his behalf. You want to say anything?
So I'm very honored to be here today to accept this award on behalf of my brother. You know, the Bible tells us to raise a child the way that he should go. And we did not know that the way he should go be here in Vacaville. When he left Davis, UC Davis, we thought he'd come back home to San Francisco. But the Lord had something different in mind for him. And I'm so grateful that you guys, the community, welcomed my brother. You loved on him. You became his extended family. And for that, I'll be ever grateful. Thank you.
All right, we've got number 5 here, number 5 Shiro, Tiffany Donahue. Come on up, Tiffany. All right. As principal of the Musetta Thrower Adult Education Center in Vacaville, Ms. Donahue has worked tirelessly in helping students break the cycle of poverty for themselves and their kids. She is also responsible, along with others, for ensuring that Vacaville wouldn't lose the only African-American identity of a school name in the city. Ms. Donahue strives to build the Musetta Thrower Adult Education Center into a place where the community of Vacaville believes, in the dying words of Harriet Tubman, "We come to prepare a place for you." I am pleased to present Ms. Donahue with the Unsung Shiro Award. All right. So there's many voices in Vacaville. There's some very beautiful and eloquent voices, and I think one of the most beautiful and most eloquent is our next Shiro, our very own Danette Mitchell. As an opinion columnist for The Reporter for 15 years, Ms. Mitchell has been at the forefront of writing about equity, inclusion, and justice before these topics were fully addressed in Vacaville at all. She has taken some flack for it sometimes, here and there, you know. As the first African American in this role, Ms. Mitchell continues to use her platform to discuss racial and social issues, giving a voice to the voiceless, and amplifying the contributions of individuals, especially residents, who might not ever be recognized for their efforts. Ms. Mitchell says she is blessed and grateful to the Reporter platform, where she can express her views from an intellectual and real place without compromising who she is. Her goal is to not only challenge thinking, but to arrive at solutions to critical issues. She patterns herself as a Shiro, journalist Ida B. Wells Barnett, who once said, "The way to right wrongs is to turn the light of the truth upon them." I am pleased to present Ms. Mitchell with the Unsung Shiro Award. Congratulations, thank you. Speech? No? All right, and we have gotten to our last award of the afternoon, so I'd like to actually ask everyone's attention just to turn around, if you don't mind, take a look back there. Mr. Ropelato, can you give us a wave? So this will give you some context about what we're going to talk about next. We have an amazing, amazing young lady, Miss Brianna King. Miss King was a student at Wilsey Wood. She created a legacy project of making large-scale graphic art tarps of prominent figures and movements to celebrate Black History Month. That same movement still continues today. She is a business owner of, I'm gonna mess this one up, Bree Stixco Stickers of iconic Black leaders. Ms. King attends Diablo Valley College, where she holds service positions there, supporting the needs of minority communities on campus. She plans to transfer to a university soon. Ms. King wants to continue giving back to her community and influencing girls to cultivate the confidence in them necessary for success. Her vision is to empower others, helping them be purposeful in accomplishing their dreams. I am pleased to present Ms. King with the Unsung Shiro Award. She is a visionary and a bright, bright, shining star in our community, and she's got a bright, bright, shining future. Thank you, Ms. King. would like to say a few words. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm going to floor first, yeah. I'm going to go back real quick to number 2. I apologize. We're going to put a few words out about Lieutenant James C. Warren really quick. I apologize.
I just wanted to say nobody was saying anything, so I didn't think I would be able to speak. But I am accepting this award on behalf of Xanthia Warren, Colonel Warren's wife. And I just wanted to let you all know she is still around. She's still living, just couldn't be here. And she will turn 100 years old in June of this year. So praise God.
All right, Vacaville, we have two little surprises really quick for some of the organizers. So I'm going to ask Aisha to come up really quick, and Brooke. We have an award from State Assemblyman Jim Frazier, and he wanted to thank the Downtown Vacaville Business Improvement District for throwing this event. Aisha is a force of nature here in downtown Vacaville, and this couldn't have happened without her hard work and the bid's hard work. So I called her. Oh, there you go. All right.
I don't think she heard you because I didn't hear it. Oh, this is so exciting.
You're welcome. Sorry. I put them on the spot and embarrassed them a little bit. So Brooke Fox and Aisha from Downtown Vacaville Business Improvement District, without their help today, this couldn't have happened. They are an amazing force for positive change here in downtown Vacaville. You want to say anything? Want to say anything? No?
Oh, just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Was it Tri-City? Yeah. And last but not least, Assemblymember Jim Frazier would like to thank the Tri-City NAACP and Mr. Jonathan George for his efforts today. So Jonathan, where are you at? We're going to call you up if you don't mind. Do we have any other members that want to come up?
Yeah, Vice President Muriel Martin.
What's it?
Muriel Martin, Vice President.
Vice President Muriel Martin. And again, without groups like the NAACP here in Vacaville, we couldn't have events like this either. So just a tremendous force for change in Vacaville, and we're so appreciative of this first annual event, and it wouldn't have been sponsored without your efforts and your work. Would you ever like to say anything? Totally up to you. I don't want to put you on the spot. No? Good? Okay.
I just want to thank you all for coming out. I do have a closing. It's not the close, but I just want to thank Jim Frazier's office. He's been like an awesome supporter of the NAACP. Whenever we call on him, he's always there for us. So I'm not sure if a representative from his office is still here. If not, if so, can you please thank Assembly Jim Frazier for us? Or if you're watching on a live stream, thank you, sir. We appreciate you.
And that is going to close out our awards today. I wanted to thank everyone so much for coming. This event couldn't have happened without all of you showing up today. This is such a beautiful demonstration of what Vacaville is and should be. It's people from all walks of life, different colors, different religious backgrounds, different political backgrounds, here celebrating the diverse and rich contributions and culture of Vacaville. This is what we need, Vacaville. We need more events like this. We need more events. We are so much closer together than we are further apart, and I really appreciate each and every one of you for coming out today. Please give one more big round of applause to all of the heroes and sheroes today. And we'll see you next year, Vacaville. We'll see you next year.
If I could get your attention for one moment. This has been a beautiful day, beautiful afternoon, and I want to thank everyone that took a part in bringing this event to fruition. And so for closing remarks, I'm going to call up the president of the Tri-City NAACP, Mr. Jonathan. Oh, yeah, Jonathan. I forgot your last name, right? George. Mr. Jonathan George, I'm sorry.
All right. Well, I was told that the representative from Frazier's office is here. But I'm not sure if you want to say anything. If not, that's fine. Just again, thank Assembly Jim Frazier for us. Well, son, I tell you, life ain't been no crystal stair. It had tacks in it, and splendors, and boards torn up, and places with no carpet on the floor. Bare. But all the time I've been climbing on, and reaching landings, and turning corners, and sometimes going in the dark, where there ain't been no light. So boy, don't you turn back. Don't you sit down on the step, because you find it kind of hard. Don't you fall now. For I's going on, honey. I still climbing. And life for me ain't been no crystal stairs. Well, Vacaville, for the African American community, life ain't been no crystal stair. But we still climbing. We still reaching landings. And we're still turning the corners. The unsung heroes and sheroes that were honored today is evident of that. And we've just scratched the surface. There are many unsung African-American heroes and sheroes in the Vacaville community. The African-American businesses in Vacaville are also unsung heroes and sheroes. For like other small businesses, they too are suffering from the COVID-19 pandemic. But they still are climbing. They still reaching landings. And they still turning corners. So please, support the black businesses here in Vacaville. We're dedicated to making this event an annual event where we celebrate and pay tribute to the contributions of African Americans in the Vacaville community. We are honoring individuals who are making positive impact in the Vacaville community and throughout Solano County. My sincere prayer is that you do not grow weary in doing good, for in due season you will reap a harvest if you don't quit. Matthew chapter 5, verse 6 reads, "Blessed are those who hunger for thirst and righteousness, for you will be fed." I would like to thank the planning committee for their hard work and dedication. I was simply the Zoom host. You did all the work. Can you please stand or wave any of the Vacaville planning committee members that was here? These talented individuals are listed on the back of the program, but I just want to mention a few of these individuals. Aisha Gutierrez and Brooke Fox from the Downtown Vacaville Business Improvement District and Association. We could not have done any of this without your event planning expertise and experience. From the bottom of my heart, thank you both. Tri-City NAACP Treasurer, Sharia Daniels. And that's the beautiful young lady that sung our National Negro Anthem. Thank you. Yeah, give her a round of applause. Thank you for all your behind-the-scenes logistics that made this all happen. It did not go unnoticed. And finally, to our co-chair, the Tri-City NAACP Communication, Press, Publicity, and Publicity Committee Chair, Mrs. Danette Mitchell. Thank you, thank you, thank you, my sweetheart. Thank you for your vision, your passion, and your dedication in ensuring that this event truly represented the excellence of African Americans in Vacaville. Can you come join me, please? Joseph, bring me the flowers. Flowers. Joseph and I thank you. We really appreciate you. Thank you to our Mistress of Ceremonies, Dr. Chapman. I look forward to working with you, ma'am. Thank you to our guest speaker, Reverend Reginald Brown. Thank you, sir, for those words. Yes, right on time words. It's always a pleasure hearing you speak, brother. And And thank you to our keynote speaker and my immediate past coordinator of the Pathway to Law School program at Solano County, Dr. Rashay Sled. Thank you. Did I lose her? Where did she go? She left already? Oh, there she goes. Thank you. My brother, Councilman Mike Silver. Thank you for always being a phone call away. My brother from another mother. And I know I'm gonna get in trouble for this, but to my humble friend, Councilman Roy Stockton, thank you, sir, for your vision for this event and approaching the NAACP. Thank you. And thank you to the city of Vacaville, Mayor Roulette, and Vice Mayor Sullivan, for all you've done with making this event possible. Thank you for your courage and leadership when it may not have been popular among your peers. Thank you, sirs. I want to thank the media for being here. Support our media. Without the media, the voice of the community won't be heard. Thank you to the Vacaville Reporter and also the Fairfield Daily Republic. Thank you for being here. And yes. And a huge thank you to all of you who showed up this afternoon, and for those that's also viewing as we stream live. I got one assignment for you. Look around. Look around at everyone that's sitting next to you. I'll wait. Yeah, look around. Take a look at the demographics that's represented here. Together, we can move Vacaville forward. Together, we can move Vacaville forward. It's unfortunate that Dr. Slade had to share that she was the only African-American councilman here in Vacaville. But come May, we want to change that. I'm going to let that sink in. I want to also thank Above and Beyond Studios, our videographers, for being here and capturing, recording this event. And I'll close with this. To my African-American brothers and sisters in Vacaville, don't you sit down on the steps because you find it kind of hard. Don't you fall now. Keep going. Keep climbing. Because as our ancestors said, life ain't been no crystal stairs. Continue to make our ancestors proud. Thank you. God bless you all.